In the quiet of the night, when the world seems to stand still and your thoughts run wild, remember, my child, that I am with you. In the soft whisper of the wind and the serene glow of the moon, I speak my words of peace to your restless heart. In the parable of the lost sheep, Luke 15, verse 4 through 6, imagine a shepherd with 100 sheep and one goes astray. Does he not leave the 99 on the hills and go in search of the one that is lost? When he finds it, he rejoices more over that one sheep than over the 99 that did not go astray. In the same way, I rejoice over you. Your worries, your fears, your restlessness, they matter to me. I am the shepherd who seeks you out to bring you back into my embrace of rest and peace. And in the stillness of the night, when sleep seems like a distant dream, remember the story of Elijah, 1 Kings 19, verse 11 through 12. After a great and strong wind, after an earthquake, after a fire, I was not in the tumult and the uproar. I was in the gentle whisper that followed. In your restlessness, listen for my gentle whisper. It is there, in the quiet, that you will find me. As you lie in bed, let the quietness envelop you. Picture a serene lake, its surface smooth like glass, reflecting the stars above. This is a picture of my peace, a peace that surpasses all understanding. Philippians 4, verse 7. It is a gift I give freely to those who seek me. As the night deepens, let the stillness remind you of my presence. In the quiet, look for my presence in the simple, quiet things around you. I am there waiting to speak and to comfort you. You can trust me in the storm. In Mark 4, verse 37 through 39, there was a time when my disciples were caught in a fierce storm on the sea. As waves crashed around them, fear took hold. Yet, in their distress, they found me asleep in the boat. In their cry for help, I stood and commanded the wind and waves, "Peace, be still." The storm ceased and there was a great calm. This story is a reminder that even when life's storms rage, I am with you, able to calm both the external chaos and the turmoil within your heart. Recall the story of Daniel in the lion's den in Daniel 6, verse 16 through 20. Daniel, who was thrown into a den of lions for his faithfulness to me, found peace and protection in the most dangerous of places. The lions did not harm him because he trusted in me. In the same way, whatever fears or anxieties that threaten to consume you, know that in your trust in me, you will find protection and peace. In Luke 15, verse 11 through 32, let's reflect upon the story of the prodigal son, who left his father's house only to find himself lost and alone. When he decided to return, expecting judgment, he instead received unconditional love and forgiveness. This story illustrates my boundless love and readiness to forgive. No matter how far you feel you've strayed, my arms are always open to welcome you back into peace and rest. When you feel alone or uncertain, remember that my love is steadfast and my commitment to you is unwavering. Consider the mustard seed. Though it is the smallest of all seeds, when planted, it grows into a large tree. This parable teaches that faith, even as small as a mustard seed, can move mountains. When sleep eludes you, let this lesson remind you that your faith, no matter how small it may seem, is powerful and significant in my eyes. Let's reflect upon the story of Elijah after his encounter with Jezebel in 1 Kings 19, verse 1 through 8. Exhausted and afraid, Elijah fled to the wilderness. There, under a juniper tree, he wished for death. But I was not done with him. I sent an angel to provide food and water, sustaining him for the journey ahead. This story shows that even in your deepest despair, I am there to provide and sustain you. Rest now, my child, wrapped in the warmth of my love, protected by my unending care. In Matthew 6, verse 28 through 30, consider the lilies in the field, how they grow, they neither toil nor spin. Yet, I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. If I so clothe the grass of the field, which today is alive and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, will I not much more clothe you? Let this truth settle in your heart and bring you rest. My provision is abundant, and my care is meticulous. As the night deepens, let the stillness remind you of my presence. In the quiet, there's a space to hear my voice and to feel my peace enveloping you. Let's reflect on Exodus 3, verse 1 through 6. Moses, who, while tending his flock, encountered a bush that burned with fire but was not consumed. In that moment of wonder, I called out to him, teaching him and you that I am a God who speaks in the midst of ordinary moments. When sleep escapes you, look for my presence in the simple, quiet things around you. I am there waiting to speak and to comfort you. In Psalm 23, remember the words of David, a shepherd boy who became a king. He penned, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." David knew the challenges of protecting his flock and understood that I, as the divine shepherd, provide, guide, and protect with even greater care. When fears and worries rise in the quiet of the night, let this psalm remind you that you are never alone or unprotected. I am watching over you, leading you beside still waters, restoring your soul. In the quiet hours of the night, as you seek rest and peace, let your mind wander to the story of Joseph. Joseph's journey was marked by trials and tribulations, yet through it all, his faith and resilience shone brightly, a testament to my unwavering presence in his life. Joseph, the beloved son of Jacob, was gifted a coat of many colors, a symbol of his father's deep affection. However, this favoritism sowed seeds of jealousy in his brothers' hearts. In their envy, they plotted against him, eventually selling him into slavery in Egypt. Imagine the fear and uncertainty Joseph must have felt, torn from his home, betrayed by his own brothers. Yet, even in the depths of his despair, Joseph held on to his faith. In Egypt, he became a servant of Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh. Joseph worked diligently, and I was with him. I blessed everything he did, and Potiphar noticed this, entrusting him with more responsibilities. However, Joseph's trials were far from over. Wrongly accused by Potiphar's wife and thrown into prison, he could have succumbed to bitterness and hopelessness. But Joseph chose a different path. In the cold, dark cell, he continued to trust in me, and I was faithful to him. He interpreted the dreams of his fellow prisoners and later Pharaoh's dreams, showcasing not only his faith but also the wisdom I had granted him. Joseph's interpretation of Pharaoh's dreams led to his rise from the depths of the dungeon to the heights of Egyptian power, becoming second only to Pharaoh. He was put in charge of preparing the nation for the coming famine, a task he undertook with great wisdom and foresight. When the famine struck, it was not just Egypt that suffered, but also the land of Canaan, where Joseph's family lived. His brothers, the very ones who had betrayed him, came to Egypt seeking food. Joseph, now in a position of power, faced his past. In this crucial moment, he chose forgiveness over vengeance, reconciliation over retribution. Through Joseph's journey, from the depths of despair to the heights of power, The constant thread was his unwavering faith and trust in my plans for him. He saw beyond his immediate circumstances, recognizing that even in his brother's betrayal, there was a greater purpose at work. "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good," he declared in Genesis 50, verse 20. As you lie in bed, pondering Joseph's story, let it fill you with hope and courage. Like Joseph, you may face trials and tribulations, moments of betrayal, or feelings of abandonment, but remember, as I was with Joseph, so I am with you. Your journey with all its ups and downs is part of a larger plan, one that I am orchestrating for your good. Rest now, knowing that your resilience, powered by faith, will lead you through the darkest nights. In me you will find the strength to overcome, the grace to forgive, and the assurance that all things work together for good for those who love God and are called according to his purpose, Romans 8, verse 28. In the warmth of a Samaritan day, as the sun shone down on Jacob's well near Sychar, I, in the form of Jesus, orchestrated a meeting that would demonstrate my love and grace in a profound way. A Samaritan woman approached the well, and I seized this moment to reveal deep truths about my nature and the gift of salvation. "Give me a drink," I asked her. John 4, verse 7. This simple request surprised her, for Jews and Samaritans seldom interacted, and it was unusual for a man to speak so openly to a woman he did not know. "How is it that you, a Jew, ask for a drink from me, a woman of Samaria?" she questioned. John 4, verse 9. This was more than a conversation about social norms. It was an opportunity to bridge divides and offer a revelation of divine love. I spoke of living water, a gift that quenches not just physical thirst, but the deep spiritual longing within every soul. "Everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks of the water that I will give him will never be thirsty again. The water that I will give him will become in him a spring of water, welling up to eternal life." John 4, verse 13 through 14. These words puzzled her, yet they stirred a deep curiosity and longing for something more than what her life had offered thus far. Our conversation gently turned to her personal story. I revealed my knowledge of her past and her present, not to judge, but to show that I, the Messiah, see beyond the surface into the depths of every heart. "You have had 5 husbands, and the one you now have is not your husband." John 4, verse 18. This moment of truth was a turning point, lifting the veil from her eyes, allowing her to see me not just as a prophet, but as the long-awaited Messiah. The woman's understanding of worship and the coming of the Messiah led to one of the most profound revelations of my earthly ministry. "I who speak to you am he," I declared. John 4, verse 26. It was a statement that shattered previous notions of the Messiah and extended the offer of salvation beyond the boundaries of nationality and tradition. Transformed by our encounter, the woman left her water jar, a symbol of her old life and burdens, and returned to her town as a witness to my grace and truth. "Come, see a man who told me all that I ever did. Can this be the Christ?" she proclaimed. John 4, verse 29. Her testimony brought many to believe in me, showcasing the transformative power of an encounter with the divine. This story, woven into the tapestry of my grand narrative, is a vivid illustration of my desire to meet each person at their point of need, offering the living water of salvation that springs up to eternal life. It's a call to look beyond the physical and temporal, to seek the eternal and spiritual. and to find in me the source of all fulfillment and peace. In the stillness of the night, as you seek solace and rest, turn your thoughts to the story of the centurion, a remarkable example of unwavering faith and humility in the face of daunting circumstances. The centurion, a Roman officer, was a man of authority, commanding soldiers with a word. Yet, when faced with the illness of his dearly loved servant, he recognized that his earthly power had its limits. In his helplessness, he turned to me, demonstrating a profound understanding of authority and faith. Imagine the scene as the centurion approached Jesus. Despite his high rank in the Roman army, he humbled himself, seeking help not for himself but for his servant. His request was a testament to his compassion and care for those under his charge. He saw in Jesus not just a healer, but someone with a divine authority that surpassed any earthly power. The centurion's faith was unique in its nature. He believed that just a word from Jesus would be enough to heal his servant. He understood the principle of authority deeply, relating it to his own experience as a commander. For I too am a man under authority, with soldiers under me. I say to one, "Go," and he goes, and to another, "Come," and he comes. Matthew 8, verse 9. In saying this, he acknowledged the supreme authority of Jesus, believing that his command alone could defy the natural laws and bring about healing. What truly set the centurion apart was his humility and his faith. He felt unworthy to have Jesus come under his roof, displaying a humility that was rare, especially for someone of his stature. His faith was so remarkable that it amazed Jesus, who said, "Truly, I tell you, with no one in Israel have I found such faith." Matthew 8, verse 10. It was a faith that was not based on seeing miracles or signs, but on an unshakable belief in my power and authority. The centurion's story teaches you, especially in moments of helplessness and anxiety, to trust in my authority and power. It reminds you that in humility and faith, you can approach me with your deepest concerns and know that I am listening. Faith does not require physical presence or tangible evidence. It thrives on a heartfelt belief in my character and promises. As you lie in your bed, let the faith of the centurion inspire you. When you feel overwhelmed by the circumstances of life, remember that your faith, no matter how small it seems, is powerful. It connects you to me, the ultimate source of authority and power. Let this story reassure you that I am always in control, and my power can bring peace and healing to the most tumultuous situations. Sleep in peace, knowing that just as I responded to the centurion's faith, so too will I respond to yours with compassion, love, and care. As our time together draws to a close, trust that every morning is a new beginning, a fresh start filled with my mercy and grace. When the dawn approaches and the first light of day breaks the horizon, let the promise of a new day fill you with hope. Just as the sun rises without fail, my mercies are new every morning. Lamentations 3, verse 22 through 23. The worries of the night will pass, and in their place will come the light of my love and the warmth of my grace.